today on our little Photoshop tutorial, I'm going to show you the dreaded pen tool. This is one of probably the most feared tools in Photoshop by beginner researchers and photographers. It's not that hard to use. Once you understand how it works, it's not that hard to use. I'm going to use the default values. You can change the pen tool into a shape, path, or pixels. I'm going to use a path because that's what I want to create. Because once we have that path created, we can make either a selection, a mask, or a shape. Okay, there's some more options that you have. You can do a rubber band. You can bring those shapes once you have it created. You can bring it to front in terms of sequence, but that's a little bit more advanced, and it's out of the scope of the simple tutorial. I just want to give you a simple way to use the pen tool. So let's start. The pen tool. How does the pen tool work? The pen tool creates a path. So if you click on your screen and then you close it, you have a path. Each point is an anchor point, and if you go and use it like that, it's pretty much the same as you'd have the polygonal lasso tool, or it would be just straight lines. But that's not the great strength of the pen tool. The biggest strength of the pen tool is when you start creating curved lines and shapes, so you can have pretty accurate control over certain areas of your picture and get some really accurate selections. So let's clear all that and use these tail of an airplane that I shot the other day with my children to show you. It's a good example to show you how to work the pen tool. So let's start. I'm going to start actually at the very end, and this is very simple. So we create an anchor point there, and that's a straight line, so we don't have to do a lot here. However, we want to pull these lines out a little bit so we can control it. See, when you pull your mouse, if you keep clicking, you're gonna see that those lines are pulled out. You can pull a couple of lines out, and that's what we're gonna use for our pen tool. So once I have that, I can use my control key and I can pick up the line that I've just made, and I can adjust it. And with my alt key, I can get the outermost of those lines, those control lines. And what I'm going to do with that line is I'm going to tell the program where I want to go. So if I wanted to select to this side, I would point these lines in this direction. But since I want to go and select just the tail of the airplane, I'm going to point that line in that direction. You don't need to make a huge line, you just need to point it in the direction you want to go. So in here, I'm going to create another anchor point. It's again one pretty straight line. So I'm just going to pull those lines out slightly. Again, holding my control key, I'm going to adjust the line I've just made, and again I'm just going to pull it there. And with my alt or option key, I'm going to tell Photoshop where I want to go. So I want to go around, and I actually want to go in that direction. So I'm going to tell that to Photoshop. I'm going to create another anchor point, pull my lines out, and you can, on your line, you can actually direct Photoshop where you want to go. In this case, as you see, I've created that line a bit too big. So Photoshop is going to tell me that it can't do the curve as I want. So I just I'll go back, adjust that line, and then do my anchor point again. And now I can curve around the edge of the tail. I can do this curve on my own. Once I know what to do, I can do it straight away. Or if you don't know that, you just ensure that you have a little bit of give on those two lines, and then with the control key you pick up your shape and your path and adjust it to match. You see that the lines will change. Again, with the alt key, I'm going to tell my selection where I want to go. And once again, this is almost a straight line, but it's going to change again. So another couple of lines, just stretch it a little bit to create the line. And I'm going to pick up with the Alt key the direction I want to go into, and I'm going to mark another line there. And again, going to follow that direction, make my lines, pick up the Control key, ensure that I have the curve I want, pick up my forwardmost line and bring it on the direction I want to go to. And I can now do almost a straight line and close my path. So I can move my path once it's closed. I can just select it. I can just click on the path and on the line and move this line, or I can move the whole path. Now I am just going to create a selection. So in order to create a selection, I can go into Make Selection. Once the path is completed, it is recorded on your Paths folder, on your Paths tab in Photoshop. So you can always go back there and you can always select that path. You don't need to redo the path if you need to select these. Also, I didn't do these tubes, these little tubes here, which I should have done, but for this tutorial, it would just take too long going around the tubes with the pen tool. So it's no point. But you get the idea of how you curve the lines and how you can create a path around an object. Now I'm just going to create that selection, and I'm going to click Make Selection. Once that happens, I'll have a dialog box appear where I can feather that selection a little bit. In this case, I'm going to feather it for 1 pixel, just to make it a little bit more smoother, the transaction. And I'm going to select OK. I have that selection made. If I do Command J, I'll have one new layer with just the area we selected. So that will be just our airplane tail there selected. And then we can pick up on that, select the V, get our move tool, and we can pick up that tail and do whatever we want with it. So that's it. That's how you use a simple basic tutorial on how to use the pen tool. It's not that hard, guys, so just go experiment. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but as everything, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, click on subscribe and share it with your friends, and I'll see you again soon. Enjoy. Happy photoshopping.